Good morning, boys and girls. Um, ooh, uh, let me wait. I left my phone in the other. I don't know why. Oh, right here, 2:20 a.m. Let me tell you something. I don't know why I needed time. I don't know why I always do that. But God forbid if I commit a crime somewhere and they need to find out I was there, they're gonna be able to find out. You know why? Because I always stamp myself on this damn computer. But that doesn't matter anyway. Anytime you have access to data, they know where you are. Anyway, I would like to know what that noise is, but I really probably wouldn't care. Um, Boys and girls, what is going on in these supermarkets? I was obviously sleeping early in the day. It's my night hour. It's my grinding hour. So chicken broth. Mm. Why am I not going in the supermarket? I'm online listening to people saying they're not making enough money, people not giving up no tips, and whatever the reason may be, they better get their asses on the job early in the morning. You know why? I don't believe I'm stepping foot in Walmart. Now, I kid you not, I heard a lot of stuff about fights in Walmart and everything, but I had no real, like, probably knowledge of that because I wasn't living near Walmart. Now I'm like, what, 13 minutes from Walmart or whatever the case may be. Why are people now? I never said they were embroiled where I live in Walmart, but I'm noticing it is Walmart. So, but not just Walmart, something called Kroger. There are people out here in supermarkets putting on their boxing gloves. I'm like, I'm not going in there. So I'm like, wait a minute, did I really see? I sometime I thought, maybe they were doing these videos like skits type of, no, honey, these are brawls, and I'm not going because somebody may pull out, oh, pow. Yeah, no, 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 no. So it is the 27th of the month, honey. It is time to get them nickels and dimes in order to knock out the bills and then put the food orders and things together. I kid you not. I am not walking in a store that I don't have to. Yesterday, I spent the day with my mother. Yes, your girl was on the parkway. Yes, but I kid you not, I didn't even feel like going into Target. I just waited in the car. You don't know what's going on now in people's lives. I kid you not, but I'm sitting here like, what is going on? Are we really going in stores, risking our lives? They are senior citizens in that store. You know what's going on? So you know what I said? I'm just gonna sit home now. Today is crafting day because I have a little fun in the mail today, and I keep lying. I don't know why I'm lying to myself. I keep saying I'm gonna come in here and do a little tidying, but one thing left this room yesterday, so I did do something. But I need to really. I don't know, but I don't have it. This room doesn't have it anymore for me. I can't do really much in here, so I am not understanding what's going on in these supermarkets, and I feel sorry. I would hate for somebody I know to say that they were in the store and somebody just said bye bye upside the head, but you are really not safe. And it seems like a lot of what's going on is at the self checkout. I kid you not, it's at the self checkout. But I'm like, no, I'm even if I have to break my orders down into smaller orders and put my little greeting card, my bracelet, maybe a little earring in the bag, and for the little tip, I will do what I have to do. But I do not believe another month I'm going to walk into the supermarket. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I can't do it. But I kid you not, boys and girls. Yesterday, my friend came. She called and said she was leaving. And when she called and said she was leaving, I kid you not, I was just rolling over to take my nap. But she's about business, honey. Her time is valuable. So I jumped up, jumped in the shower, and did everything I had to do. But I kid you not, she came to the rescue. I had an audacity to think I had full coverage with Susie when I moved up in here. I called those people before I got here. Did everything I had to do because I don't like riding on maybe a bill out there on the roads. And I said to the lady, I needed roadside assistance while my friend was downstairs working on the vehicle. And turned around, she said to me, "You don't have it." I'm like, "Why?" And then she said, "You have this." I said, "Excuse me, I don't want that." I said, "Can we figure out what I have and we can figure out what I want?" So then she was telling me all of this. Well, if since you're a good driver, you just should have it to where if you hit someone that you can cover them. I said, "Excuse me, miss. If I got in an accident, I want my car fixed too." So she said, "Oh, I understand what you did. You understand." So she put the full coverage back on the car. I know my car is an older car, but I don't. You don't know what you have access to out there on the road. I said you to the lady. I said I'm not gonna deliberately boom boom bam somebody, but just in case, I want my vehicle fixed too. Susie don't want to walk around here crying, looking at her bumper. Oh, mommy, fix me. No. No, no, no. But honey, I had some nice time yesterday. I didn't really go anywhere. I went to my old building and I was outside. I kid you not, boys and girls. I don't care if you don't like me. I just don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I don't get paid on YouTube, so I'm gonna start not caring. I was so thankful. I was so thankful because when I first of all, my anxiety was horrible when I came back home. My anxiety was horrible there. So I said, I really have to figure something out. I even said to my mother, I may not be able to come back down here too often. It's going to have to be, some weeks in between because she was like looking at me and I'm like, my anxiety is horrible here. When you have to, constantly turn around and look. Now I do that when I'm driving, regardless, because I don't know what it is about me. I just need to see through. I be like, and I don't like to do that, but something just makes me want to be. I guess it's because so many people like take that sip sip and drink and drive. So it's just. But when I am still. I'm standing. I'm sitting. I'm not moving, and my head is always like, I don't like that. I don't like that. But what I did notice as soon as I got back into Hoodville Lane, the car radios and in that type of music that I just can't understand how people just blast that out the window like everybody would listen to that. He's like, lick this, eat that, suck that, money that. I'm like, oh, woo, they park in front of churches and play that lick eat suck music. I'm like, I said, ooh, I cannot wait to go back home. And when you cross to a certain point and you see all of that nasty trash all over the ground, I'm like, oh. And then you see people out with their chairs outside just sitting amongst this filth. I'm like, oh. But I kid you not, that feeling I have always had, even the entire time I lived there. I kid you not. But even when I moved out of New York and came back, just for the plane to land. But I kid you not, one of the things that I noticed, and I'm so freaking happy that I was able to notice, was the difference in the freaking air. I kid you not, I felt really like really I didn't want to roll my window down. I'm like, ugh, the air. I don't understand it. So now I'm saying to myself, why am I not in the woods around a lot of trees? Because there it must be the gold. That must be the gold, boys and girls, because the air quality was so different. I never understood when people say the air, but it is definitely a thing. And I am not, but I kid you not. Let me tell you something, boys and girls. I was driving. It was my first time driving from here, so I was a little nervous. So I told my friend I'm not doing more than 55 miles an hour. So when we got on the parkway, she was gone. So I'm like, okay, go ahead. And I'm looking at her like, and then at some point she had to pull over to bring me my cell phone and look for hers. So Next thing I know, I got to a certain point where I realized that she realized that I was not with her or something, so she slowed down. But I kid you not, I even told my mom yesterday. I said she is so good for my nervous system. But you know what? She's a bully. She's a bully. I wanted to do something. Like, oh my goodness, she's a bully. Oh my goodness, I love that girl. But I was driving and I was so freaking happy. I said because someone else would have probably just made me, go a little faster, make me uncomfortable. But I did notice that I was a little nervous when I got to a part of the road that was 2 lanes instead of what looked like four, and then I was really on like the wall, and I'm nervous around the wall because sometimes instead of going straight, they go like this. So if you are of a certain mile, in speed, you really have to be mindful because what if it's behind you. So it is what it is. But I did notice that when I was driving, there was a driver that was like, woof, woof, woof. So I said, the good thing is I was behind them, but then I just have to get away from them. So I was able to, but I had a smooth sailing. But I kid you not, boys and girls, I just needed a slice of pizza. I kid you not. I kid you not. Y'all, ooh, I don't know if anyone has actually had a slice of pizza from some of these locations in New York that use that real Italian cheese. Huh, it makes a difference. I went in yesterday and I saw that they have the cheese in the refrigerator, and I didn't ask because there were other people in the shop. But if I am there by myself, or maybe since I asked for the pamphlet, I will call and ask if they could sell me a lump of that cheese because that cheese is magnificent. Yes, but I kid you not. Yesterday when my friend was working on jumping my car, I kid you not, she's a grinder. I noticed that I started falling asleep, so I went upstairs and I heated up some chicken broth, and it kept me for a couple of hours, boys and girls. So I kid you not, I love chicken broth. But I'm sitting here like, okay, I have about this much left in my refrigerator. I don't know how long you can keep chicken broth before you need to replace it, but I kid you not. Anybody wants some chicken legs, you better grab them now, because I plan on acting like a fool when it comes to them chicken legs. I didn't realize the gold in this right here. When they say eat your medicine, drink your medicine, and all that, they mean it. They absolutely mean it. So my stomach was so good, all day. But I am actually seeing physical changes in my body when I take my clothes off. What I don't like is the fact that um, because I wasn't able to walk for that year, my legs are not firm like they were when I first lost over 100 pounds. So that I'm working on. But you know what I thought about? I'm not going to work on anything. I'm not going to cause myself any unnecessary harm. When I say that, I mean mentally. I already have my anxiety is horrible, boys and girls. I don't think they're going to really renew my lease in this building. I'm going to start looking for somewhere else to live. I kid you not. They're not going to let me live here another year. I already know it. Mm-mm. You can't. You have to be mindful what you say because you may speak something into existence that doesn't necessarily have to be there. I do know that. But yesterday I was checking my mail and something said not to check my mail until like after 2, 3 in the morning, like I'm used to. But I went downstairs maybe around like 8 o'clock or whatever, and because my package just arrived and it was supposed to arrive tomorrow, but it arrived today. So I went downstairs, and as I'm checking the mail, and then the young lady was there, I'm here, and then I picked up my bag, and when I went to turn, a pit bull like that, and I just went bonkers. And at that moment, I could sworn the snot was out my nose. I couldn't, and I'm trying to. And the look on the girl's face was like she couldn't help me. She was asking. I couldn't speak, and then the man that was holding the dog back, he's like, "Why did you have to scare her?" And I'm like, and I'm trying to say sorry, but how do you say sorry when the dog didn't do it on purpose? But I kid you not, I would not. Nine times out of 10 would not have moved here if I knew there were dogs here. There is no, I would have just said no and that's it. So I'm thankful that I did not know that. And I kid you not, there's like, I don't hear the dog across the hall. But if I was to go by my front door, the dog across the hall would come to the door and so I have this strange thing that the dog is saying hello to me, but I truly want someone. There was this one lady has like a pit bull, I believe it's a pit bull, and the dog keeps trying to come near me. But what I believe is that I may like access to a dog. I may have trauma issues due to dog because when I was younger, dog jumped on top of me, laid me out flat on the concrete, ate my sandwich out my hand. So I've been terrified. A dog chased me, a big dog chased me up, and I jumped on somebody's car. And I kid you not, this is true. Yeah, this is true. The dog chased me, and I was afraid, so I jumped on somebody's car. There was nobody outside, so the dog, like, big black dog, and I'm like on the back of the car, trying to get off, and then the dog run back in, and I run over the hood, and back to the front of the car, and then so then the dog go there, and I'm trying to get off, and I'm like so I was like boom, boom, all over. Oh, but I kid you not, all I see was dance, and they come out, come, like maybe what 5 minutes, might have been two, but it was like a million minutes. This man come out and said, "What? Get off my car!" And I'm like, I'm wondering at the time, can he see the dog? Because all he was worried about was his car. But I'm like, can he see the dog? So then he pulled the dog. He said, such, come in the house. And I'm like, this is your dog? So when he got the dog in the house, I jumped down off the car. Now, mind you, I was living on the same block as him. He obviously didn't know, and neither did I. But I was so afraid of that ass whooping my mother. My head is hurting, boys and girls. I was afraid of that ass whooping my mother was gonna give me for jumping on that man's guard. I was not going home. I said that man might follow me. So I went way down. And I was in the Bronx, boys and girls, by the time my fear let go of me. And I only went straight because I didn't know my way anywhere. So I went straight. I was a child at the time. I had no business that far from home without my parent, especially my type of mother. No, you better stay with, So I ended up coming back, but I said, oh my goodness. Now at the time, I wasn't aware of kind of damage I did to that person's car, but at the time I didn't care. Why? Because I was fearful of the dog. But I've had so many instances with dogs where I have trauma, but there is no trauma like when I saw that pit bull eat that man alive and that man's legs. I saw that man a few months later, downstairs. I was downstairs, the social service department where you look for a job. You want to find a job to help you. So we were downstairs there in that unit, and when I saw that man's legs, there is nothing you can do, you can say to me about a dog. Now I do know that there are kind dogs. I know all of that. I am not gonna play this in the sandbox. I'm not gonna play Jimmy Jackass. I'm not doing any of that. The bottom line is we already know there are dogs that have turned on their owners for no apparent reason. If you do not actually have access to what the dog has in its brain at that moment, you can't tell me nothing about a dog. I'm not even trying to hear you. You may zonk out. You may be like this, and I'm because I don't hear you. I don't. My mind is on that sucker has teeth, and that's it. I was coming out of my apartment, I think, me and my daughter, and the little cute little dog, you see little white little dog with little fluffy hair, little afro, bit my daughter, and the ambulance and everything had to come, and the man was like, oh, that's the same little daughter. But you just don't know. You can't really say what, you could have the sweetest in the world. That is your sweet. That's it. And then on top of that, I saw a video. I don't even know if it's still on YouTube. I saw, oh Lord, is that a hot flash? Ooh, ooh. I saw a dog. The lady put the baby down on the floor, and the dog bit the whole baby face off instantly. I didn't see any violence in that video. There was nothing other than that. The lady went upstairs, and I seen her last piece of her foot get up the step, and the baby was on the floor, and the dog just got up. one bite, took the whole baby face with it. So I don't, but I'm gonna ask that one lady if she could, just come near me a little bit with a dog, a little bit with a dog to get to the point because yesterday I was not even aware. I was standing next to the curb and something said, turn around. And I turned around slowly because something said, be mindful. So I turned around slowly, and what was I looking at? A pit bull. Did I run? No. Did I panic? No. I just stood there. You know why? Because the dog didn't leap. The dog didn't even act like I was breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It just looked. So I was like, okay, maybe you trying to sync with me. Let's be friends. So I didn't even but when you like that, my sister has a humongous dog. I think the dog's Moon. Dog's name is Moon, and I'm gonna share one of her videos if I see Moon again. But Moon is humongous. You hear me? I can't even make it up to the second flight when I want to put no. A friend of mine wanted me to come from here to one of the Carolinas, and I was able to stay with her, but she has a pit bull, and the dog has a cage, but it has access to the home, and I said no, and she was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not letting you put how the cage up your animal for me. I'm not doing that. That's not etiquette for me to make that dog. That dog's not gonna like me. Why? Because it's in a cage when it would normally out not be because of me. So as soon as she comes out, it's going straight for the ankle. And which ankle? The bad one. Ha! Mm-mm. No, boys and girls, I felt so good on that parkway. When I reached a certain point, I kid you not, the air changes, the scenery changes, but I kid you not, I I go outside and I walk and I feel a feeling that I have been looking for all my life. I kid you not. I felt so bad yesterday because when my daughter messaged me, just flashed a picture to let her know where I was. She was like, "Are you at?" And it was such a moment for her to know that I did that and by myself, no less. But I have been praying in this house, asking God to just give me the strength to lean on myself. I am 56 years old. I have to focus on how I'm going to take care of myself, when I get older, because I kid you not, there are so many things that I realize that are blessings, like not having sex, I'm going to try not to go there, but I am truly amazed at the fact that I absolutely love someone. But you could love someone, think that they're the best in the world, and then just one day you realize that this person is not who you thought they were. They were exactly who you created them to be in your mind. And then when that hits you and everything else happens, you got. So I was sitting in the car yesterday talking to my mother, and I said, I don't know what it is because everything I have done leads me back to this one person, and she's just looking and she didn't say anything. I said, but Mom, honey, you can get hooked up with a man, and that man can drain you of everything you ever had just because you get attached. And she's like, and the reaction on her face without speaking. And see, that's the thing with my mother that she doesn't understand. That is amazing. It's not what she says, it's what she's not saying. And what a lot of people do, they don't stop to look at what the person is doing. They look at what the person is saying. That's why they sit down so amazed when life slaps them in the face. Just imagine sitting down at dinner with your family to dinner, and you're just listening and you're listening. That tomorrow you just, well, I could have sworn this person said he was going to do this. So I don't even care anymore what someone says to me. I need to see what they do around me. So it is what it is. But I kid you not, I have this one person that is the sweetest in the world. Just treat me with the kindness, would treat me like a rose, take me to everywhere, and just put all of the bells and whistles. I am not her. I am not her. You are not going to take me out there and sit me under. I am not her. So I don't know, and I'm not changing me for anyone, and I'm not letting anyone. I'm not changing anyone for anyone. Yeah, a couple days ago, he went out. Some woman asked him to go on an out event with him, and he called me. He was like, one of my female friends asked me to go out with her, and I'm like, wow, you going out? And he was like, yeah. He said, I'm gonna look like $1 million. I went to so and so, bought me a suit, and I'm just listening to this man, knowing how much he cares for me. But you know what I was happy for? The fact that he could tell me that, because you know why? If he can't tell you the truth, you can't be with him. He's just not going to be. He can't deal with chaos. He can't deal with chaos. He's not living in drama. He's not living in any of that stuff. And he was just so excited about this new suit he was going to buy. And I'm like, and then today I thought maybe I would possibly get to see the suit, but I was with my mother when the phone rings. Like, are you coming? And I'm like, my mother is in the store and she needs something. She, oh, okay. And very understanding. Why? Because there is nothing you can say after that. They don't even go around the curve because it's not going to happen. My mother's in the store and that's it. So I said, I'm with my mother. You say, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to see you today. Well, I guess you're not. Unless you wobbling on over here, but I'm not leaving my mother to go there. That's it. So that's it. But my mom, I was sitting at the dining table, and then my mother calls my sister, and she's like, "Do you think you can go to the store and pick me up?" And I'm looking at my mother. I said to her, I said, "Why would you do that?" And she said, "I need." I said, "But she's walking," and I left it alone. Went back to eating whatever I was eating, and then she said, "Do you think you can?" I said, "I'm sitting right here." I was, and then she's like, "But I know how she feels because she's of an age now. She doesn't like to ask, so I completely understand. But I wish she would have asked me before she made the phone call, because what she doesn't realize is that while you can't get these places are accessible for other people by, you know, and I don't know. I wish my mother would do one thing, and that is venture out and be willing to relocate, but she's not. So I'm not going to touch that. I'm leaving that where it is. I'm just going to focus on what I have to focus on, and that is me. Boys and girls, it's cold in here. Ooh, mm-mm. It gets cold and then it gets hot. But let me tell you, there are people inside of some of these groups concerned about sales. Now, there's a lot of loss. A lot of people not selling. A lot of people not selling. I kid you not. I ended up just leaving eBay altogether. I wasn't even getting views, so it doesn't matter. But a lot of people have realized that you have to actually sell locally, and you have a chance, because why? You're not selling with fees. You're not shipping. You're not doing any of that stuff. So one thing I have learned very, very carefully is that uh, some things need to be spoken in dribbles. So people are wondering why, and I'm like, you have to get some of this stuff off of the computer. A lot of people understand now, by being sellers, what the fees cost to list some of this stuff. You understand? So then you have this mentality in the market where if you price it at a lower price, it's perceived to be cheaper. But if you price it at a higher price, it's perceived to be valuable. And it's amazing how magical that works, because I hate to say something that will put me in legal problems. So I don't know if there's a disclaimer or whatever sometimes on some of these chats that I get into. But if you want to sue me, you can't sue but so much. You can have it all if you want to just take it. I'm not even gonna fight you for it. But I thought about something. Uh, a lot of people are against Timu, and I'm not saying I'm for Timu or against, and whatever your decisions or whatever, they are yours and you're valid for all your feelings. But just say Timu's in China. I'm just saying, just say, and just say that Nike is being in China. Just say Walmart, China. Um, what's the other store? What's the other store? It's another massive store. Um, China. Now, I did a little research, and there's a lot of stuff that China buys from the United States. A lot of stuff. A lot of it is in the food thing. So, and I'm not talking about in cans. I'm talking about like vegetables and stuff. So I did a lot of research, but recently I realized that Temu now has FedEx delivering for them. So when I saw that, something just said boom. And all I thought about was the amount of people in the United States that's going to have jobs, that's going to have actually packages to deliver for people that are shopping from Temu. So I said to myself, now if that's not a good connection for people to see, but I sometimes scroll the computer, and I am not one to now I'm not I was gonna lie, but I'm not gonna lie because I really don't want to, but it would have been a lie, but not an intentional lie. So I have to rephrase that because there's a massive amount of people that go to Goodwill in the bins and they buy all of these clothes, and then they go to flea markets and stuff and they have these sales like $1 or 50 cents, but they really pay 10 cent, whatever the case may be. So when I go to something like that, and I don't care what the item is with a tag on it. I'm looking for a certain price, and if I'm not getting that certain price, I'm walking away. That's just that. I have rights as a buyer, just like I have rights as a seller. So it is what it is, and that's because there are times you can walk up on someone, but I will never walk on someone and say, "Oh, I can make that," and that's not going to be me. And I hope and pray that no one ever does that to me, and I would have to answer them back and have my face on my shirt. I just don't want that type of behavior, but there are a lot of people hurt and stuff like that. But I wanted to say something that happened to me, but it didn't happen to me. And I wasn't going to say it, but I am going to say it now because it didn't happen to me. So no one can actually say, well, she did this, she did that, because I actually wasn't nowhere on the scene. But someone had, a handful of my greeting cards and walked into an establishment to show someone, and someone bought all of them. Just said, "Give me all of them," and the person couldn't believe it, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness," "Oh my goodness," and I just felt so freaking proud. But I didn't say anything to anyone about selling handmade, walking the street. I didn't say any of that. Someone came to me, they were living a life of not so goodness, and they wanted something different. So she was like, can I just have, and that's it. But when I got on the phone yesterday to hear, I demand, just say, give me all of them. And I'm like, and then another person said to her, you need to raise the price of those cards. And she was like, people keep saying, but I don't want to have any of those type of discussions, because she doesn't realize something. Those are yours. You knock that box out on your own. I don't have nothing to do with that. And I'm getting kind of tired of my phone ringing, and and I'm like, well, I've got to go, and but I'm just trying to tell you that. And I'm like, and at the time when she was telling me, I just walked in the door. When I was driving, I wasn't even replenishing myself with liquids because I had just had a massive bladder explosion, and I'm like, I don't want to go through that, so I just want to. And then I realized that because my bladder is so freaking bad, and even the medicine that I have to take to help me slow down from going to the bathroom, my overactive bladder is worse. But I didn't want to have to be somewhere. So I got like 5 pairs of panties in my pocketbook. Got a whole bag of pads in the back seat. Got like 4 up in the front. I'm like, and sometimes I'm just, people see, I don't care if anybody see me. I'm in here with my wifes and stuff. I'm taking care of myself. I don't care about nobody seeing me. I remember one time I was in my car fixing up myself, and this man was in a truck up. He was just looking down, and I was like, "Hi, how are you?" But it is what it is. And I take one pill to help me not go to the bathroom so much, but that pill hurts my stomach. It hurts my stomach because it's holding my bladder. So I have to remember, just take a break and just go to the bathroom and release. But I've had an overactive bladder all my life. My friend has an overactive bladder. She has to wear all the time. So I should say, don't you have it? It doesn't matter because you look like Pamper Butt if you wear that out. I'm not wearing that. You look like Pamper Butt. Oh, I kid you not. And God forbid you leak once in it, especially with this full bladder I have, because I just dropped the bottom out. I'm like, oh my goodness. But boys and girls, I kid you not, I had a really nice day. But I mentioned how I felt bad for my daughter, and I did because I took a picture. Everybody, I took a picture and let them know where I was, just in case someone wanted to see me or I wanted to see somebody. And some of them just saying hello. So I took a picture. Oh, hey, and she's like, I need you to come get me. I want to go. And I'm like, that was it for me. I'm like, mm-mm. When I got there, my gas was down to right on the nibble, and I didn't even have money in my purse. So I don't have the mental capacity to deal with anyone who doesn't understand the wear and tear of a vehicle and the cost of freaking gas. I'm not playing in the sandbox. So I'm like, mm-mm, I gotta go. My phone is dying, which it was. My phone was dying. It was, and I didn't have a charger. Who stole my charger out of my car? I don't know, but one of these days I will be going on Amazon and getting me one of them nice long chargers and just have a charger. But the charger I have in my apartment, if I take that charger and put it in my car and I forget, the mind state I will be in having to go back through the garage at night, I'm still like, because I'm jumping too much, and I don't like when I'm jumping around other people because they don't know what's going on. So I'm like, and I start crying. I don't want to, and I'm trying not to cry around other people. I saw someone who works in employment. I have to be very careful. You don't want to put people in situations, and I could see the look on the person's face when they saw me. It was like, felt so sad, and their body language spoke. Their mouth didn't. So so sorry, and but sometimes you have to realize you don't have anything to say sorry for. Someone's life is someone's life. I'm like, I have anxiety, really bad anxiety and stuff, and they're aware now. But everywhere in this building damn near has a camera, so of course they're aware. So yesterday, I was spoken to, and the noise that was in the other room. I'm so sorry I asked, but at least there's one little piece of information that's understood. So now I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. The children, the little children that are in that room yesterday, or no, not yesterday. I think it was just, it doesn't matter. They were outside playing with chalk on the ground. And I am so freaking thankful that I move my bed and lift my blinds up because I lift up the shade and I'm looking out the window. I'm talking on the ground, writing with chalk. Now, I don't see children where I used to live playing with chalk. I don't see that. But here, they were outside playing with chalk. So that took me back to what I was legit seeing. And then upstairs here was about, I would say, five uh, larger, taller kids playing boom boom pool in that room. So now it's understood that those children are letting their friends in the building, and those children are why they're in here. So when I came out of my apartment a couple of days ago and I saw these little children hiding from these people that were running around the hallway, I thought they lived here. But I've come to learn that they don't. And I kind of figured that out because I don't see them with a key fob. See, everyone here who's on the lease has a key fob, and you need your key fob everywhere. So I noticed that these children don't have. But when I was speaking to two different people, I said, the reason why I don't actually plan on having any more discussions with anyone, even the management. I even told her I'm not coming to you anymore because those are not their friends. There's nobody gonna send their children outside to play with. There's no way. And I said to her clear as day, but I said it the way I would say it if I was talking to Coral or somebody offline. I said there is no way I'm gonna send their children outside to play with. That those are not their friends. Absolutely, they're using them to get in the building, and they're young and they're actually children. And when you see them playing with chalk, that tells you where their head is. They're children being children. But those NASA. So I said, I'm so glad that you saw that. But I'm going to speak to the parents. Well, you have a few days because that's what you're going to get. Because next time I see it, I'm calling 9. I'm going to go get the number to the local police. I'm going to call the police and I'm going to meet the police downstairs. And the only thing I want the police to do for me, they can do all the bells and whistles on their own. I need you to ask each and every one of them to show you a key fob. Because once they show me you a key fob, then I won't be concerned anymore about them being in here. But you are supposed to be with your guests. Those are not their friends. They can't be. There's no way in hell those parents would send their children outside to play with them. There's no way. There's no way. So when I saw that for myself, I said, okay, I'm not gonna play the sandbox anymore. It is way above you now. It is time to do. And I understand because I did speak to someone, and she said, some people just fear. It's a fearful thing when you put fear in someone because of dynamic or whatever the case may be. But we can't live like that because since I have been here, although I have anxiety, my anxiety is trauma based, and it's gonna be many moons before I can heal myself. But I kid you not, I do want my lease renewed in this building. But I did make it clear I won't be coming to you anymore because I can see what I see. I live chalk on the ground playing a little. I think little Tommy was playing with water in the fountain. The little grass water. It was coming up and playing. No, those are not your friends. They're using you to get in this building. I am going to knit, and I'm not going to be Karen. No, I'm not complaining. I'm not going to be Karen. There's a time when we have to do the right thing, and we have to put a solution to the problem because there is no way in God's creation. But I kid you not, the reason why I didn't want to call 911 is because I haven't seen a parent. I haven't seen a parent, and I have a strange feeling the parent is not even on site. And if that call was to come through, and those children, and you have to go, and there's no adult on scene, what happens with that? So when I mentioned that to someone, she said, you're not even supposed to care about that. Yeah, you are supposed to care about that because people out here trying. So I'm gonna hope and pray that it happens when they're downstairs, hopefully playing in the thing. Because the bottom line is, if they let them in the building, they're supposed to be with them. Which means if you're their friend, go outside and play in that chalk. Because if they outside and they're in there and say, excuse me, aren't you with your friends? You need to go outside and play with that chalk. Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna walk right in there. In that room with my phone and have the police on the line. I see some children outside playing with some chalk, but I don't see their friends out there with them. If there's a chance you could slide someone over here to the left, yeah, you can't do that. That is an abuse. That's abusive. That's abusive. I kid you not. This right here is gold, but I kid you not. Today, I'm going to sit down with my craft supplies. I went downstairs to get my damn packages. They locked up in a locker, right? I said, oh my goodness. I don't know. I'm supposed to get an email when they go in the locker and a code. I haven't gotten it yet. But I'm like, but the good thing is, look what I used to have to worry about. Whether someone stole it. I don't have to worry about that now. But I kid you not, yesterday I had to make a phone call, and I came from the garage and I went to the main lobby, and I sat in the lobby on the couch, and then a neighbor in the building came out of his apartment and went across and sat on the couch, and I'm just sitting here looking at the beauty of peace. You understand me? Of peace. I kid you not. But girls and boys, you don't understand. I'm saying to myself, okay, there hasn't been a man walk through the threshold, but it hasn't been to the point where it wasn't access to one. But I said, I need to stay on my grind right now. So I went to Wayfair looking for my sample, and the couch was gone. I found a wall unit, and I said, okay, I could work with the wall unit, put some baskets and some towels and things to cushion some of the echo in the apartment. You really can't hear it in here, but you can hear it in there. So I went back and I saw 10 people looked at that item, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So then I went about my business, and I went back, and it was all of the samples were gone. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh, why did I choose the day I chose to and then I found this. You know, one of them like couches that you pop the plastic and it just blows up like some type of I would call it a fun couch. You just jump on it. It might be foam or something. It's not like a hard wood or something like that that's wrapped through fabric. Anyway, I have one of those in my shopping cart in pink. In pink. I think y'all understand. But I had some knives, this silver and black holder with these knives, and it can sharpen, and that's gone. So I'm like, but the good thing is, what I'm having fun doing is looking through and just dropping things in my shopping cart, and then every day I just go look and see what's taken, and it's like a little adventure. So now I'm down into my shopping cart. Now I'm only allowed four items. When I first joined the program, I was allowed 2 items. Now I'm allowed four, but you're not gonna believe what's in my shopping cart. I got a cot from Temu. I got a cot, but I didn't get the padding from Temu, and now they have the padding for sample. I'm like, oh my goodness, everything is just rocking and with intention right now. But now I'm gonna see what's available from what's not available. And this part is every single item is still free. But guess what? I only get to pick four, and I have 8 in my shopping cart. But I'm just piling up in my shopping cart because something's not going to be free after a while. But what I'm looking at is a STP Blue Toil D Joy stock pot. Um, I don't know. It's white and then it's blue, and that's why I want it. And it's a stock pot, but I don't know if the material is anything like that. So I'm gonna go in. Hopefully, some dishwasher safe, cool touch handles, crafted for longevity. The pot is made of thick 0.7 mm aluminum and covered with high quality enamel. I'm not sure if I want to eat on enamel. I'm not sure about that, but someone please tell me because I really like this pot, this set for the color. And on top of that, I wouldn't mind, I want to um, use like I want to make more chunky type of soups. I think that would be nice for me because then I could just like make some put some like meat in the pot, put some broth or whatever. But I would like a little bit more soupy meals like Coral likes. So that's what I'm looking forward this year. Now it does say 4 quart, 2.2 quart, and 6.55 quart. I don't know what that is, but I'm hoping it's a decent size. So someone please let me know because I have a couple more days before I have access to but I have to choose. So what I'm going to actually do is just keep going to the cart. Now the water resistant futon mattress is foldable, but I chose the twin size for my little cot, and the I do have a 2-seater, a little couch. It's white. I think I picked white. Yeah, I picked white. I have that, and then I have the blow up. the boneless sofa. That's the one you pop the plastic and in the bag. I mean, in the bed swell up. But I'm only getting one. I'm not getting two. So I put it in my shopping cart, and then I have the mats, the little foam mats that you put in the kitchen. I don't care what color they are. I'm getting as much as I can because I need a little cushion on the floor. I'm finding myself tiptoeing everywhere because I don't want to be a nuisance to the person underneath me. And now that I know for sure that you can hear, because I was able to hear in the lobby, I was in the lobby and I heard boom, 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 and I'm like, ooh, I would not, want anyone to do that above my head. So I'm so thankful that I have rugs everywhere. I am so thankful I have rugs everywhere in here. So I'm gonna get those rubber mats every chance I have. So if I can get these two here, hopefully I can get the black one that's in my shopping cart and the blue one, because the black one is by itself and the blue come with two. I would take one blue and put it in my bathroom so I can have, because my bathroom is large and when I walk in, so I would put one at just at the stream pathway right to the toilet. I would put one there, and then I would hope for the black one to put it by my front door, right where I walk in. I will have this floor carpeted, layered up. I don't care what the floor looks like. When I can get an 8 by 10 rug, hopefully, something of a neutral color, I will have that, and I'm just going to put it on one edge of the wall and layer it up on top of another. But by the time I get finished in here, it's going to be padded. I'm not one of those tenants that just have this I don't care attitude about the person that live downstairs. I'm not going to be that way because karma will set you on fire. You hear me? Live it like that. You have that nastiness mentality that you can't be a decent neighbor. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But I have seen so many of my neighbors since I have been here. I live here. I love living here, boys and girls. I drove around the block and I actually see places that I can sit with my little handmade table and my little goodies and stuff like that. I don't really see what y'all can see on this camera. Okay, because you see that box right there? That box is holding what I'm working on right now, and I don't want it on my thing. There's people that ask, what are you doing, in these groups? But you know what? I noticed that they're sharing very little because they're stealing everyone's ideas. Now, everybody has access to do the same thing. It doesn't matter what you do because what I'm doing is something someone else is doing, but I'm damn sure not doing the same thing someone's doing, if you understand what I mean. But sometimes if the struggle is real, you have to be mindful what you put on the computer. So I'm not sharing my crafting and stuff like I was. Now sometimes I may drop a picture up there or whatever, but I really and truly can't because I don't care what anyone says. Unless someone is actually buying from you and they're just liking, they're not solving a problem. And right now things are so tight that people are focused on food. So the fact that there is even people buying, they're 9 times out of 10 buying what they can pull out their purse and pay you for it in your hand, and that is absolutely still happening. So when I have that little piece of understanding, so I'm not worried about being, doing that's not working. All that liking, oh, this is pretty and this is cute. Yeah, that's for the birds, honey. That's for the birds. When people are working and they're trying to feed themselves a paid bill, that stuff is not. I try to tell them sometimes in some of these groups, y'all, just sharing y'all stuff, and the next thing you know, you see someone else with the same thing. And I don't care how many times you think about it, unless you're actually crafting for fun, for like mood support or something like that. That is a different thing when you're sharing. But when you're sharing to feed yourself, you have to find a way to come off the computer because right now people don't want to swipe that card. No, and I kid you not. Ooh, yes, thank you. Oh, the air just popped on. I'm not sure if they like give you some and take some, but ooh, that burst just felt good just now. But I don't know what's going on, but what people are going through right now, I'm talking people with a massive amount of money that's finding their accounts drained out and stuff. So it is what it is. But I'm not gonna say I did contact one lady and I asked I would like 2 bags, but there's a handmade site. I'm going to stay within that site for a few of the gifts I'm going to purchase. But if someone thinks I'm a scammer because I don't want to pay Etsy fees and stuff like that, then I'm just going to wish them the best. I just hope they don't use the word scammer next to my username. That's what I hope, because then I might have to come out the bag on them. If you think I'm a scammer, that's fine, but don't put scammer next to my username. That I'm not gonna go for. I might have to come out the bag on them, but I hope not, because your girl is being very good, and I'm so thankful because I legit started walking away from people, just walking away because I don't want the chaos in my life. Someone called me a few days ago. She said, I haven't heard from you. I'm like, oh, I was just resting. And she said, oh, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah. But I was dealing with something. But you know what I realized? Sometimes I have to leave what I'm dealing with between me and God. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. So I was in here. I didn't feel like getting in the shower. My head was like, I'm not getting in the shower today. So I'm like, and then I went to go get in the shower, and then something distracted me. And then I went in the kitchen and did something, and then my head started hurting me. So right now I have little bit of pain right here, and a little bit of pain right here. But I kid you not, it's gonna be that way for a few days because of where I was yesterday. And I came home, and I noticed that when I went to the doctor and I came home, my body was unwell for a few days. So I said today it's going to be an indoor day. I'm gonna wait and get my package. It's like 3:15 now. I'm gonna wait and get my package, and maybe go on the machine or something, but maybe not. But today is gonna be messy day because I'm gonna just sit at the dining table. And but you know why I'm upset? I can't. I had to move my bed, so now I can't even watch TV and cook. I can't watch TV and craft. I shouldn't have to do that in my freaking home because of people being so unkind. Since for the last, I haven't really been hearing much of anything, and realized when they told me it is the truth is the people that don't live in the building. So I shouldn't have to do that. I had a really nice setup to where I could sit at my dining table and I could just do my little stuff and watch my little TV and stuff like that. But I'm gonna turn on some Hallmark. My TV has a radio station, and I was so upset that I didn't have a Pandora anymore. But I have a TV. What is the name of that TV? I don't know. Anyway, I have a radio station. So I have Light FM. So I don't know if her name is Cindy Lauper. I think I was listening to her yesterday, but I think these songs go back to when I was a little girl, and the song I'm like, oh, and I'm in here, and then my hip reminded me, sit down, girl, shut your hip up, like, oh, and I'm like, ooh. But at some point, I'm gonna walk into a hospital. At some point, I am. I just don't want to go in the hospital. Stop scrolling, girl. Stop scrolling. Okay. There's a song. I don't give a F. I don't know where to find the song. I don't know what the name of the song is. I found it yesterday and I put it on Facebook, but I kid you not. I think I left that song re for like 4 hours on my computer. Can you imagine how much money they're gonna make if they have a blue circle? All you have to do is they're gonna make a lot of money. I was sleeping and I heard, I don't give a I don't give a and it's the truth, honey. Sometimes you have to get to the point where you say, I don't give a because when someone comes behind you and just wants to take your finances, and I mean that in the best possible way, because we don't have access to right and wrong all the time. Sometimes we have to move and shape. It is a hard world out here, boys and girls. But if you absolutely can see that someone is just squandering their money, I don't care if you gave birth to them, and then they turn around and need you to cushion their fall, you have to get to the point where you can say no. Even if you don't say no, you just have to have in your mind, you go, I don't give up. When I heard this song, I'm like, and the reason why I feel that way is because someone recently, was trying to love bomb me in all this way, and then turn around, oh, the house and the car, and then turn around, want me to co-sign. What? Bye. No, are you crazy? You say, well, no, that don't work like that. See, I am not for the bells and whistles. Don't try to put no hair up in here, no eyeliner. This is the. I was this way. I'm gonna die this way. Don't even if I'm in my coffin. Don't even put no lip gloss on me. You don't want to. You see this right here? It's my little favorite right here. It's my little favorite right here. But I sit down and laugh because I said to myself, sometimes you can know someone does not have $1 in their purse, and you can say, "Well, I'll give you this, baby. You better go tell somebody else that I've been poor too long. I know what it feels like to have nothing." Yesterday, I asked someone for some tape right here in my building. She was like, and I showed her what I was in that living room wrapping, and she brought me a whole roll of tape. And she was like, I don't even use the tape, but you know what I am going to do? I'm going to use the whole roll of tape, and then but I plan on buying her a whole roll of tape. I'm not one of those people that can ask somebody for something, and you just give it to me, and you just give it to me. I may give, but I'm not a taker like that. It's just not in me. So it is what it is. But I was so thankful because I really and truly want the tape. But the only thing is, I realized I don't have a way to weigh the item to put it, so I'm gonna have to take it. If I was to weigh it in my home, it would be a lot cheaper than it would be if I have to go out. So, but I don't have any way to weigh it now. I do have a way to get it to the location. All I have to do is, if I was able to get it from here to the post office where I just moved from, just put like 4 books of stamps on it, and then it would without a. Woo! Lord have mercy.